Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get started today, just want to ask everybody, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And at the end of this video, if you thoroughly enjoyed it, go ahead and give us a like, give us the thumbs up. We really do appreciate all the support we can get from everyone. So today we're going to continue working on a little project that I picked up over our vacation. And if you've seen the last video, you know that we've got two of these hog feeders. They are more of a commercial gravity style hog feeder where all the food goes down into here and then it separates out into the left and the right side. All of the mechanical parts have been pulled off, and that's so that we can give this thing a nice deep clean. And anyways, we're going to get back to that later on. First things first, this morning let's go talk about what we're going to do at the hog pen for these feeders. To get this larger feeder in the hog pen, we're going to need to stabilize it, or give it the ability to be stabilized. We're going to do that with a concrete pad. Here you go, right down here. There you go. So I'm just going to draw out how these forms are going to look. We're going to make them 36 inches wide, and then they're going to be about 40 inches long. All right, but instead of me having to fill up the whole entire area with concrete, we're going to go and build a second form. We're going to come off the edges at 12 inches all the way around. So we're going to have a second form in here, just like this. And so all the concrete will be on this outside, almost like a concrete donut. So Olivia and I, we've already got our measurements kind of figured out. I've got two pieces at 39 inches here, given our short side, and then we're going to cut two more pieces at 40 inches here to give us the long side. Got your earbuds, earmuffs?
I'm not ready yet.
Just to make this a little bit easier, we're going to take the end pieces, and we are going to pre-drill them and recess, give them a little recessed area so that our screws got a little bit more room to bite.
What goes down in the other?
Want to help me put these together? You're not going to need your earmuffs. You drop that one there. Why don't you go take care of the others? I'll get these. I need that screw.
Can I help you?
Yeah. Well, we have to build like a we call it a form, but like a frame. We have to build a form, because if we pour the concrete in and it doesn't have anything to push against, then the concrete is just going to like it'll just go wherever it wants. So the form will help keep the concrete together. We can push it down and we can pack it in, smooth it out. You can if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh. Start here on this one. When you do it, try to angle your pencil. So use your other hand. Try to angle your pencil in here, and then drag it. There you go. And the next one here. So what I do is I start with my pencil on my mark. And I run my square up to it, and then now you can make your mark off of that. Nope. You gotta run it down the edge. One more time. Nope. So we've managed to screw something up here, and I don't really have enough time to figure out why or what. So we're just gonna roll with what we got here. I made my inner piece as big as I possibly can. I think it's 288 square inches versus originally how I did it, which was 285 square inches. So we are taking up a little bit more room, but I'm not gonna get the outline that I wanted to. I think that should be okay. Before we pour concrete, I'll double check the feeder and make sure that we're not gonna have a void between the front of the feeder and the apron that'll be around it. So there's our form. I took some scrap pieces I just had laying around to kind of hold it into the center, and we'll get it inside our pig pen and get a mark of where the outline needs to be dug back, and then we'll set it down in there. Well, it took me a minute to get all that figured out. For some reason, I think it's just the heat right now, and trying to keep track of numbers and leveling things and squaring things and whatnot. But we finally got it. We dug up what we could. We got the forms anchored up real good. I'm gonna go around and backfill around the forms so that the concrete don't come out, and I'm gonna clean up the inside a little bit, just flatten that all out. I'll probably wet it too, just so it doesn't suck the moisture out of the concrete. But as soon as I get ready with that, I'll get Chrissy to mix me up a couple bags, and we'll get to putting concrete in here. Well, yesterday we did fall a little short, and I'm not sure if you could tell on that last clip right there that the amount of concrete we had did not fill the top of the forms, and we just did everything we could to kind of pack everything down. So we just made sure we had as level of a surface as possible, and went ahead and let it cure. So from what Chrissy had measured yesterday, it looks like we have a little bit over an inch, or right around an inch in depth that we still need to fill up. So we're not necessarily building a foundation for a house here, so we don't we're not putting a whole lot of stock in this screw up right here. But I was able to go up after it was all said and done. I did go up and went ahead and got another bag of concrete plus like a bag of kind of like Portland cement. In a way, it was actually like a cement repair bag. I think it was like a 40-pound bag instead of a 60-pound. So I think that should be enough for filling the rest of this thing up here. And after breakfast, we'll get to working on that. And this one keeps nipping me. For the longest time, this black and white pig right here would not want to be anywhere near you. Even if you put your hand out and touched his head, he would scream and run away. Or even if you got close, he would just scream and run away. They've all kind of calmed down and got comfortable with us. And this one is the bossy pig.
To know. I want to know. Yeah, but I want to know in a different. Look, my life's work is a theory. It's one theory. My entire life.
So before we put the actual concrete on here, I have wetted all this down, which I probably put a little bit too much water in it. But what I also did was drill and put in some tap cons, and this concrete here still isn't 100% cured yet, but the tap cons will just help our, we'll say, base layer of concrete bond with the new layer that I'm about to put on it. So I'm gonna get any of the solids that are loose inside these forms up out of the way, and then I'll finish mixing what's in the wheelbarrow, and we'll get some more concrete in here and get it finished.
You don't hear brake on through the other side or
Fuck,
something.
yeah, there. Fuck.
They're both there on the record. The photograph is a chart. So you and I are playing back a 14-dimensional quantum world, but we're only playing back a place somewhat adjacent to solving. That is my structure. That's what I believe in. We're having this. Okay. In 1994. Says theoretically you don't have to deal with these super complicated equations. He doesn't say what replaces them.
Thank you to the family for helping me out clean up after we poured the second batch of concrete, and also to reward them. Everyone put their handprints in the concrete, and we signed it too. Or I shouldn't say we signed it, we put our initials on it, as well as the year that we put it in. Might make it a little bit difficult to clean, but it'll give us something to remember and something to look back at every time we come out here to check on them.
Just
Yeah, dish soap and a sponge.
Do you notice?
Great thing about these feeders are they are all stainless steel, so we do have a little bit of rust here on the sides. I'm going to try to get off, and most of all the other stuff inside should come off as well. I think it's just really old. It was pulled out of service, and then they never really cleaned them up. Let's get this thing cleaned up, disinfected, and then get all the hardware back on. Okay, well, we've let it dry off as much as we can. We're gonna put the rest of the hardware back together, and everything was pretty much really rusted up. It was seized up. The springs were all in rough shape, so what we did was we took all that stuff apart, and I took these little, well, I'm gonna take some more of them off, but I took one of the handles off and figured out what size thread it was, and it's that thread, which I think was like a 1032 or 1024 thread pitch. I took a 1/4 and then welded the two heads together, and now I can't get it apart here, but anyways, I also took a 1/4 nut with a piece of steel and then welded it out on top of it. So now I've got a new handle, and you can tell the distance here when you go to wrap your hands around it to move them. There's really not a whole lot to grab onto. So when we run this in here on the new one, boom, and we can easily get our hand in there. We can raise it up, we can move it around. It's probably a little bit of overkill, but this plastic was kind of dry rot, and even when I was like grabbing them to move them up and down, yeah, the plastic was like falling apart. So I'm going to disassemble these, and then we're going to put these back together. I also cleaned the rods. These rods will go down here and they'll hook up to the door, and then that will help lift those doors. You'll see it all when I put it all together. So that's pretty much what it looks like when it's all together. So you can pull this up. You can put it that way. Pull it up to here. That's the highest level. Same thing, pull it down here. That's the lowest level. Boom. Boom, lowest level you can possibly do. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other side over here, and we'll check it out afterwards. All right, so that'll conclude our projects pretty much for the day. But before you go, we could hit this with vinegar to disinfect it. There's also probably some other chemicals that you can put on it. I'm not gonna do that necessarily. We could also polish it up, maybe make it a little shinier, but we're not too worried about the way it looks. Really, we just want it to be clean and make sure that nothing kind of gets transferred to the pigs that we have. So what I'm electing to do, I've got the feeder up on the porch, and the sun is going to be going out in this direction right here and then up into behind the camera. So I've just kind of got it pointed towards where the sun's going to go. Eventually this afternoon, it's going to be bearing right down onto the inside of this, and we'll let the UV rays kill off anything that may be in there. I think it's pretty good looking. It's pretty clean for the most part, and we saved a ton of money. These are not the Hog Slap brand. We are getting an older feeder, an older design, but the ones we were looking at brand new were like 8 times, 6 times the cost of what this was. So we got 2. We cut our cost down dramatically, and I think the pigs that we raise here on the property will be benefiting from a feeder like this instead of hand feeding them the way we've been doing it. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you got any questions or any comments, leave it down below right here. And just a reminder, shirts are going to be coming out here soon. As soon as I get my hands on them, I'll probably make a little video to show you guys. And what I'd like to do is get a pre-order in. Again, thank you very much. If you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you do like this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you share it if you know somebody that's in the same position that we are that might be interested in these feeders. And yeah, hope you all have a good rest of your week, and take it easy.